Hello, Achim Yekarim, Shavua Tov, Shavua Mevorach. Have an amazing story for you, but I'm going to finish it off with this just to make you hear it. People today have, unfortunately, a very, very difficult time with emunah when it comes to money. And unfortunately, some people have this disease called stinginess, being cheap. They, for themselves, they want to buy a car, they want to buy a house, they buy all those things, no problem. The guy says, listen, it's going to cost you an extra $3,000 for the navigation system that you have for free on your phone. They say, yeah, add one if you can, add two. Listen, this better paint is going to cost you an extra $4,000 for the house. Yes, no problem. Go ahead and add it. But the stinginess comes in anytime it comes to mitzvot. Anytime it comes to mitzvot, whether it's buying a mezuzah, that's a real kosher mezuzah, you come to the rabbi, you say, oh, rabbi, I need mezuzahs. The rabbi says, listen, it's going to cost you for the least amount of money. It's going to cost you $75, $100 for a kosher mezuzah. If you want a high-level one, Be'ezrat Hashem, because you believe in Hashem and you want protection in and out of the house, it's going to cost you a couple $100. Oh, Rabbi, are you sure you can't get something for maybe $30 or $50? You tell a guy, listen, you donate $1 for a CD, you donate a few hundred of them, you never know, you could save a life, you could save a soul, an eternity. The guy, Rabbi says, you can't get a better deal on these CDs? Okay, you know what, I'll give you $18. But you just spent $3,000 on the navigation system you don't need. How come you only spend $18 or $50 on this on the CDs to save souls? And the reason for this is when someone has a little bit of problem with his emunah. And for here we go into the Torah and we obviously have to see what Hashem thinks about this. In Sefer Haggai, in the book of Haggai, the prophet tells us what Hashem says. Liya kesef v'liya za'av ne'um Hashem tzevaot. Hashem is telling us here clearly, mine is the silver and mine is the gold, the word of Hashem, master of legions. Hashem is telling you everything is His. Everything. The money you have, the money you want, the money that you think about, everything and anything in this world is His, including your own body, which is the reason someone is not allowed to commit suicide, whether Jew or Gentile, never allowed to commit suicide because their body's not His. Their body's not theirs. But Haggai is telling us something very special. He says that once a person believes this specific thing, once he realizes that everything is really Hashem's and not from your own hand, he'll never be cheap. He'll never worry about money, and he'll also never waste money for stupidity. There's an amazing story about Even HaEzel. Even HaEzel is one of the greatest sages that ever lived just a few hundred years ago. You'll see his commentary on many Chumashim. Most Chumashim today use his commentary. But unfortunately didn't have any fortune, didn't have any luck when it came to fortune, so much so that he would say about himself that if I started a store of hats, people would be born without heads. If I started a store for umbrellas, it would just stop raining. He knew that Hashem did not want him to have fortune in this world, but obviously his Olam Haba, we could only wish we had even a small part of it. But Even HaEzel was also very spicy with his words. And one time he goes to a town, and this town had some rich people, and they had a community that the rabbi said, listen, you have to host guests. We'll take turns. The true hosting of guests is when the guests have no choice, not just hosting your friends to come over for Shabbat because you want to show off your food. That's not really exactly a mitzvah. A mitzvah is to host someone who is from out of town, who doesn't have another choice, who's alone, and so on. And Even HaEzel came into this town, this poor man, no one really knew who he is. And this Gvir, this really rich guy, it was his turn to host, but he didn't know, so he went shopping in a market for an extra large fish so he could enjoy it on Shabbat. And as soon as he got to this, he bought the fish and he was on his way home, he ran into the rabbi, and the rabbi said, hey, listen, today is your turn to host the town, the new guests. The guy almost had a heart attack thinking that he's going to have to share this wonderful fish with a stranger. I can't believe it. He immediately ran back to the store and bought a few ugly sardines and came back to his wife and told him, listen, when I have a guest tonight, give him these few sardines, make sure that he's full, and then as soon as he's full, just, we'll kick him out and I can eat my fish in peace. So, this is what they did. Even Ha'ezer shows up at the house after Tfilat Arvit. Hello, they have the Kiddush, and they give him these 6 measly little fish. And Even Ha'ezer looks at it, and he sees that no one else is eating. So he realizes what's happening here. So he picks up the small fish, he puts it to his ear, talks to it, and then puts it down. Picks up the second fish, talks to it, and then puts it down. And this is the way he does for all of these fish that he has in front of him. So the guy, the cheap guy, is saying, what's going on here? What do you talk to fish? He goes, oh yeah, listen, when you learn some Torah, you could talk to animals. And he says, really? What they say? He says, well, actually, I was asking them, what happened in Mitzrayim? What happened in Egypt? So the first fish said, no, you know what, I don't really know. Ask my brother. So I asked his brother. The guy said, no, I don't know. And I asked all of them. And then eventually they all said, you know what, we're all very small, we're all very young. We don't really know what happened in Egypt. But our big brother in the kitchen, he knows. So Even Ha'ezer looks at him, he goes, why don't you bring his big brother out? So you see, Even Ha'ezer was wise. And the cheap guy was caught in an uncomfortable situation. But nonetheless, what is the cost of being cheap? Why are people cheap? Why do they have such lack of emunah? Why do they have such a difficult time giving money? Anytime we work, if we don't say B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach, if we don't say in God's name we'll do and we'll succeed, we're not putting things into perspective. We're thinking that our hard efforts are going to be the ones that succeed. Our hands and labor and mind and thoughts are going to be the ones that lead to our success. And the reality of it is that this is as false as can be. Hashem has everything in His hands. As He says, Liya kesef v'liya zahav, mine is the silver and mine is the gold. It's mine. If you want a piece of it, give me a reason. There's an amazing story about Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld that lived about 7 years ago, who lived his life completely full of emunah. One day his wife tells him, dear Rabbi, we're out of food and the store owner is not willing to sell us anything on credit. What should we do? Rabbi Sonnenfeld immediately closed his books. He says, if this is what it is, I'll go get you money. He says, well, what are you going to do? Do you know how to do anything, sell anything? He goes, no, I'm going to go do what I always need to do. He says, what do you need to do? He goes, I have to go ask my father. He goes, your father died? He goes, no, my father upstairs. Hashem, I have to go ask him. The wife didn't say anything. She was tmimah, very simple. She trusted the husband. She trusted the rabbi. And off he went. He didn't know that one of his students just came to see him and saw the rabbi walk away, so he decided, you know what, where's the rabbi going? He never leaves his books. Let me follow him. So he followed the rabbi. He sees the rabbi walk for about 10 minutes, praying to Hashem, talking to Hashem. After 10 minutes, he bends over, picks up something, and returns home. The student, as soon as he got to the house, he says, Kvod Rabbi, I couldn't hold myself. What happened? What happened? What did you do? Why did you leave the house? He says, I went to ask Hashem for money. He goes, you know, what happened? He goes, He gave me money. He goes, what money? He goes, I went 10 minutes, and eventually when Hashem accepted my prayer, I looked down and I saw there's a gold coin. I picked it up and I came back, and now we have money. The student was baffled. Anyone that's listening to the story is baffled. How could this be? But for Rabbi Sonnenfeld, this was normal. This was 100% normal, as it says in Isaiah chapter 26:4. Bitchu be'Hashem ad ki beya Hashem tzur olamim. Trust in Hashem forever, for in God Hashem is the strength of the worlds. If you truly believe that Hashem will give you, He will give you. If you truly believe everything is His, He'll give you a piece of it. But you have to do something. You can't just be one of those guys that says, no, I believe in my heart. Like some people say today, I'm religious in my heart, but in actions, nothing. Babkis. There's no such thing as that. We have to take actions. Just like Nachshon from the tribe of Aminadav went into the Sea of Reeds first before the rest of the nation of Israel, before Hashem crossed the ocean, before Hashem split the ocean, because he wanted to show Hashem that he believed, and not just say he believed. And this is a real life story that I just heard on Friday. Mamash, a miracle. Mamash, a miracle that I know firsthand that happened, and I only knew it after the fact. I always tell people, you want to hear a miracle? Call me every day, text me every day, I'll give you a new miracle. We see these every single day, either in ourselves, students, all types of people that really show Hashem that they believe in Him. I know somebody very, very close to me that I didn't know actually, but their kid had a problem. Was born with liquid in his ear. Liquid in his ear, which is a problem because if it's not removed, it'll make growth very difficult, makes walking very difficult, makes everything very difficult, and it's also painful. Kid is already 2 years old. About a month ago, they took him to the doctor, the specialist, and the specialist says, listen, it can't go away. You must arrange for a surgery. There's no other way. This liquid doesn't come out. It's not like spit or saliva that comes out of the mouth. This is not coming out. You have to remove it with a surgery. The parents obviously are heartbroken, thinking that their 2-year-old child needs to have surgery. What do you do when you have no choice? It's called Tfilat Cheser Oni. It's the prayer of the poor. The poor have better prayer than the rich. Why? Because the rich are just worrying about more money. They're worrying about more things. Whereas the poor have no choice. They know that Avinu Shebashamayim, our Father in heaven, Hashem, is the only choice they have. And this is exactly what they did. They prayed to Hashem. They prayed to Hashem. But not just prayer. They showed Him. As soon as we came out with the post that we're coming out with our CDs, a $1 CD, each CD can save a soul, each CD is 30 hours. He was the first person that said, listen, I'm in, I don't want to miss out. I want to sponsor 1,000 CDs and Be'ezrat Hashem save at least 1,000 souls. Baruch Hashem. I didn't know, I just thought, wow, Baruch Hashem, very generous soul, he's always been generous with me, but still, nonetheless, didn't think much of it. I thought that this is a generous person. I didn't know about the kid. I didn't know anything. All I knew is that, Baruch Hashem, we have another 1,000 CDs. We have a sponsor. He calls me on Thursday. And he tells me, you're never going to believe it. I said, what? He says, you're never going to believe it. I said, what? He says, we went to the doctor today. I said, why did you go to the doctor? He says, he tells me the whole story about the kid. I said, okay, so what happened? He says, the doctor's looking, and he's testing, and he takes it under x-ray, and a different test, another test, and a CT, and a before and after. And he asks us, why did you bring him here? Why did you bring your boy here? He has nothing. What are you doing here? What are you looking for? So we thought that he's kidding. He said, you're the one that took the last one. He says, yes, but it's not the same kid. I don't understand. Where could it be? So he brings his other professional doctor in there, and he takes the same tests. And he says the same thing. He goes, why is this boy here? Why are you testing for something that doesn't exist? When Hashem wants something to happen, nothing is beyond His limitations. Ishtabach shemo la'ad. The boy is 100% perfect, as the doctor said, umushlam. He's perfect. He has nothing. And this is what I keep telling you, my brothers and my sisters. When Hashem told Jeremiah, if you do tshuva, I'll always accept you. You'll be sitting right next to me. Aval im tavi yakar mizolel kepi tiyeh. But if you bring somebody that's not righteous and make them righteous, if you bring a precious from someone that's going against me, You make him into a precious. You help them do tshuva. You'll be like my mouth. Kepitiyeh. Chazal asks, what does it mean we're going to be like Hashem's mouth? Hashem answers them and he says, I created the heaven and the earth, and I can bring back the dead and make them alive. And you will be able to do the same. And this, my friends, is exactly how Hashem fulfills that promise. Kepitiyeh. My dear friend did not just tell Hashem that he believes in him. He did not just pray to him with an empty heart. He prayed to him with a heavy heart, and he took action. And when you take action, especially with things that are as difficult as money, kepitiyeh, you'll be like Hashem's mouth. This is a real life miracle. It happened. It's not something I'm making up for this drasha. It's, as Chazal says, you have to stay away from lies. This is 100% true. It's first-hand information, not just some story I heard from somebody. It actually happened to one of the people that's in this group. So Baruch Hashem, Yishtabach Shemo La'ad, you see Hashem fulfilling his promise as he always does. Make sure that you don't stay cheap if you're cheap, or stingy if you have a problem with emunah, because it may be costing you your miracles. Shavua Tov, Shavua Mevorach, and may Hashem continue to bless all of you. Kol Tuv.